been in battalion for 53 years this year. I started out in Battalion 363 in Buffalo, New York, and came up to Hickory Hill before it actually was a camp. And I served in tree climbers, stockade, and started all three programs. And now we just have battalion, but battalion's been growing. We have 30 guys in it now, and we're headed towards 50 probably within a couple of years. We have 9 adult leaders, and they're amazing. The story I read kind of broke my heart. It was a nationally known author, and he said when he was in 7th grade, he went to church. His family wasn't church going, so he hadn't been connected with the church at all. And the preacher talked about accepting the Lord as your Savior. And he said, that's what I need. So he went forward and accepted the Lord. And he had to fill out a decision card. And he thought, well, somebody's going to contact me, and nobody ever contacted him. And for the next few years, he felt like he was walking with the Lord as much as he could, but he didn't really know anything about being a Christian. And he felt really abandoned and alone, which is how he'd felt in his family, until an adult mentor started mentoring him. And I thought, wow, that's what we do in battalion all the time. Everything I have read about mentoring sounds exactly like battalion. Developing personal relationships like Jesus did with his disciples, teaching, coming alongside kids when they're having difficulties, all those kinds of things. And I think CSB has the best mentoring program anywhere. We're on a camping trip, and one of our kids, who was about 12 years old, was bullying another kid, enough that it was drawn to our attention. And in battalion, we really focus on leadership development. So rather than jump in as adult leaders and try to solve the problem, I pulled our sergeant aside. He was a junior in high school. And so he called this other kid aside. They went and talked for about 20 minutes. So I went over to see how things were going. And the kid that was a bully was crying. And he said, I just have so much anger in me, that's what I do. So we prayed with him and challenged him to not continue that bullying behavior. So David ended up staying in battalion until he graduated from high school, and was a really, really good leader. No more bullying at all. That was gone. But one day he came in and he said, I'm just having a lot of trouble with my dad. He's not around right now, and I'm missing him, but I'm really angry with him. And he just started sobbing. And so we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes. And that's an example of what we do in battalion. We develop relationships with the young men, and they trust us, and sometimes they just need to talk for a while and have somebody listen. Sometimes people ask me why I have stayed in battalion so long. And the answer is really that I love it. I love being with these guys. I love developing relationships with them, the trust that they have in me, the trust I develop in them, the fun we have together, going camping together, being outside, teaching them really useful skills, using a hatchet, for example. Seeing a kid be able to capably use a hatchet is just so much fun. But the most impactful times for me are when we're around a fire, and it's dark, and the guys are talking about their lives and some of the pain in their lives, some of the things they're afraid of, some of the ways that God supports them, and we know that they can only talk about that because they trust the Lord and they trust us.
Now we trust in God to keep us right and keen for Christ, because we love Him, because we want to serve Him, until we see Him face to face. Hurrah!